Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is where you are. We hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of I Could Be Wrong, but I Doubt It. My name is Fresh. Thankful that you decided to join us today. Go and jump right into this thing today, man. I'd like to introduce my partner who's a connoisseur of all things cultural. He's my partner in podcast crime. Reg, what is the deal, fam? You rattler pimping.
Yes, sir. Fresh, I hadn't seen you since the last time I saw you, brother. Holla at me.
Man, I've been hollering, man. My voice is damn near gone, man. I've been hollering too much, man. So
hollering for what?
Bro, I mentioned last episode, but I got a 12-year-old daughter at the crib, man.
Oh, no doubt.
My life is upside down, bro. It's just upside down, man. I know y'all see it, raised some classic hip hop, man. Y'all know what
yes, sir.
You know what it is.
That's what it is, man. So yeah, I told you I rocked that. It's been 2019 now. I rocked that T-shirt at homecoming, man. So I had a lot of folks ask me where I got it. So yeah, that's classic hip hop, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting.
I'll put a link in the description on the YouTube page, man. If anybody want to fuck with the shirt, man, it's my line, Fresh Originals, man. If you wanna get it, you can get it. We appreciate you. Buy about 100 of them joints. Baby needs some shoes.
There it is. But you talking about classic hip hop, man. Yesterday I took my son to the barbershop because my days are gone. But sitting there, and they were his barber, right? His barber was talking about. I saw a frat brother in there. He's younger, and we dapped up or whatever. And then the barber said, "Hey, did y'all go to the same school, whatever?" And it's like, "No, we just frat." And I think he was like, and long story short, he said something like he was born in 1993. I was like, man, 93. I was like, man, I was like
socks older than that.
Right. I got some pajamas upstairs in 93, bro. So it was like. So I said, well, shoot, 93, that was a good year for hip hop. I was like, man, that's when Midnight Marauders came out. He was like, okay, yeah, I heard of that. Like, damn, you heard of that? Man. I mean, it's just like it's just a vibe of like, man, everything's.
So did you like immediately be just like, man, let me go sit my old ass over in the corner?
Yeah. I was like, let me get my cigar and my derby and sit over here with a newspaper because
with the hard bottom shoes, bro.
yeah, Stacey Adams.
You know what I'm saying? Two colors on them, burgundy white, black and white. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, time flies, bro. Time flies. My son to be in 2021, man. My son to be 30 this year, bro.
Damn. Yeah, you old man fresh for real.
Old man fresh for real.
A son who will be 30. I can't even fathom right 30. Now.
Married with a daughter, man. He's doing his thing, man.
Good deal, man.
So, but man, what we gonna get into today, man? I know we were having a pretty good political discussion last time out, man. I kind of wanted to be sure that we put the proper bow on that particular package, man, because we were kind of running out of time. Didn't want the show to run too long on that, man. So you want to jump back into that, man, to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had some good energy there, and I think you even named. I think you even named that episode. Keep that energy.
Yeah, keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, man, it really is what it is. One thing I say is if you are about politics or if you are about holding people to what they say they're going to do or hoping that they do something different, just really do it. I mean, really do it. I mean, it's real life out here. And if someone can put bills and policies in place, you know what I'm saying, to change, to really impact change, not just reform. And that's another word that I really don't like to hear much, especially police reform. But let's get into some real bona fide, a bona fide paradigm shift,
right?
Way of thinking with stuff.
Because the whole thing about reform means that something was formed previously. And I think that in order to really say, hey, let's reform something, you have to actually, it has to crumble. And I don't think that the status quo has crumbled enough. You understand what I'm saying? Because, if you're going to reform something, you can't have the same shape. And I always think that whenever people start talking about, law enforcement and, criminal justice, whatever the case may, however you want to package it, however you want to, say it. I think that they always want to keep some semblance of what's already there. And I think that there has to be a pointed effort, a concerted effort to tear that bullshit down. There has to be, an effort to say, okay, these are the things that we can no longer have. I invite people to look at the, just as, and not saying that this particular place is perfect, but I would definitely have people, research, Camden, New Jersey in regards to the reform that had gone on there and how it actually has affected, their crime rate and their relationship, the relationship between, its citizens and its police department. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it is
came a long way.
It came a long way because Camden was like for years.
Be the murder capital.
Yeah, I mean, for years running per capita, it was like the most dangerous place in the freaking United States for years running. It was like Detroit and Camden used to flip flop a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's not perfect. There's still crime there. Don't get it twisted. But the way that their particular reform took place, it's an interesting case of what could possibly happen. And and it's not to say that they don't have confrontations between its police and the citizens. I'm not saying any of that shit, so don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is that statistically speaking, from a community aspect and what the community is now saying about the police department and the police department's approach to the people that live in the community, the improvement there, because you can't take away generations of white supremacy and police brutality and all those things, ball it up and then be like, we done. You can't do that. Yeah. So, but taking the opportunity and the time and the willfulness to try to restructure something like that and to see the jump in the index in regards to for lack of a better term, the harmony between the community and the police is something that could be used as a case study. If college professors who are teaching criminal justice, political science, and all these other type of social sciences, if they are not using that as a case study to teach their their students, I mean they're crazy, because I mean there's a lot of research that could be done there and a lot of other knowledge that could be contributed to academia to help those things, But nonetheless, in regards to how our new administration is going to affect this, I want to take a piece that you said in regards to having the courage to to keep pushing those particular objectives. I think that we're at a point now, man, where there has to be. Okay, let me rewind this, because I need to say this in a way to where people kind of understand what I'm saying without misconstruing it. So I had to be real careful. Not this controversial, but I just want to understand. I think that Black folks need to understand, regardless of what your political belief may be. It's like, if you believe voting counts, if you believe voting doesn't count, okay, fuck all that. Let's just say that voting does count. Again, I mentioned before, look at the state of Georgia. Look at all those Black folks that came out. What we need to do at this particular point is make the Democratic Party feel threatened by our presence. And I know people might say, well, that's counterintuitive to getting shit done. Well, no, it's not. If you don't want to be a career politician that is going to have to constantly go along with what Republicans say, because if we remove ourselves out of this political process or form our own political party, it's going to be just like what happened when Hillary ran. A lot of moderates who didn't like what her politics were either stayed at home or voted independent. Yeah. We're in that same position. We've shown that we can flip a historically racist state into a blue state. But we have to have the fortitude to confront the people that we put in office. And I think that's where we get it twisted. We'll come out because you've had people knock on your door and say, hey, look, this is what's important. This is what's on the line. We'll come out because the preacher in the pulpit let the politician come up in the pulpit. We'll come out and we'll listen to all that other bullshit every 4 years, 6 years, 2 years, whatever the case may be. We'll listen to that. We'll get pandered to. We'll throw that vote. Boom. You know what I'm saying? We'll give it away. But I think the relationship dynamic needs to change. They need to totally understand that they work for us. And I don't think that we've pressed that issue. Once we press that particular issue, I think that people will listen more. And I think it will bring up even more value to the black vote. If we choose to stay engaged in that manner. Well, so what I'm saying is that you're always going to have people that be like, man, fuck voting. You're always going to have those people. But what I'm saying is that for people who are engaged in the political process, the engagement is fine. The seriousness needs to be ratcheted up a lot. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the dilemma, Fresh, is what we talked about on the last episode about us and we. Right. If you are participating in the democratic in the voting and political process, whether you are a Democratic, Republican, unaffiliated, whatever, independent, you once your team wins, you're not going to really take on that cloak that you're talking about. Like, we won. Like, I'm here now. Now, this is my team. So what you say has total value, but again, it's the mindset that no, I separate myself now, because how I'm going to put pressure on my team if we won? And I'm in the locker room, we with champagne bottles, and I'm saying, hold on. It starts with the mentality. You have to. That person has to really say, this is about me and my interests and hopefully the interests are with the people. Right. And if you're not a Democrat, not, hey, let me take my hat off. Biden, that didn't sound right. I'm Democrat, but that doesn't sound right. What you're about to sign. You know what I'm saying? So
we're scared of that confrontation, though. That's the problem.
House and field Negro.
We're scared of that particular confrontation. And the funny thing about that particular confrontation is that it's not even a confrontation when I'm saying, look, I know you trying to fuck me, but don't think that I don't know that you trying to fuck me. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's not even really, it's a common sense directive.
But people don't even know that they butt naked about to get fucked.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's the sad part.
It's a common sense directive, though. It's like, you should know that this is the shit that's going on.
What they say, Harriet could have saved more if they knew they were slaves.
Right.
Same type of mentality, man.
Same type of mentality, man. There was something else I wanted to say too, man. Oh yeah. Going back to Georgia, man. It was a really good groundswell of support. A lot of grassroots stuff going on down there. I think the person that gets the most recognition is Stacey Abrams, but there's tons of other organizations, locally and rurally that that really brought people out, to the polls. So shout out to everybody that was down there doing that thing. And I wanted to say that we need those type of individuals in other states, specifically Louisiana and Mississippi, because from what I understand, those two states are the blackest states in the country. Right. So we have to figure out, but they're both red states. So we need to figure out how those can be flipped too. Because whenever you start flipping those states, I mean, you can get even more of a majority in Congress as well. So and in the House. So I'm wondering, excuse me, I'm wondering why the engagement is not there, and we need those, type of Stacey Abrams etal that are in those particular states to step up and to help, I guess, wake up that particular base as well, because it can be done. It can be done. I just think that it was, incredibly ironic, the fact that the same dude that basically cheated to become governor, ended up being ended up being under the attack of Trump. Because I'm just like, the irony of that whole thing was just I couldn't write that shit, man. I couldn't be like, okay, let's start off with the governor stealing the election, but then falls out of favor with the. I couldn't have wrote that shit.
Boomerang, man.
I know. I couldn't have wrote it, but again, to anybody that's listening to this, man, or watching this, spread the word, to people that in those particular regions, man, that we need a little bit more engagement, from the deep South, because this is where we are. I mean, Black folks are everywhere, in the world, but as far as concentration in the United States, the deep South is where we are. That's right. Primarily located, man. So, and most of the states in the South are red. Florida, red. South Carolina, red. North Carolina, red. Tennessee, red. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah. Even though I don't get too much into the red and blue piece, but I understand what you're talking about.
Right.
Because I think it once again, I think you have to excuse yourself from that generally. If what makes a blue state a blue state, and so once you're blue, what does that really mean? In terms of your Black mentality, your Blackness and what you do. And
it's really none of that, to be honest with you, man. I think we know that. I don't think
what you're saying. I get. I just wanted. That's just my take.
I mean, I'm talking about political engagement, because really what flipped Georgia over, man, was a change of dynamic in some of the counties in the Atlanta metro area. Because outside of that, people still voted like they wanted to vote. So I guess there has to be more of a hub of more progressive people that are doing more things, that are contributing more economically, where people are prospering in more of an economic manner, to change that particular dynamic. So I mean, I know it's a deeper process, but I'm just speaking from a political engagement standpoint. Yeah. I mean, there should be more turnout in the particular states, though.
And that's what I was going to say. Atlanta's a hub. I mean, it's a mecca, and I don't think comparatively with Mississippi and Louisiana,
you can't compare.
They come close,
right?
They come close, but I mean, that's
why they last and everything, man. That's why they last and everything. I mean, I've said this 2 million times, man. Racism is bad for business, bro.
Yeah.
Racism is bad for business, and what racist people don't understand is that the conditioning that we've been through makes the majority of us just want to be at, like you said on the previous episode, makes us just want to be at the table. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, so, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
Yeah.
But moving on to what next, man?
We don't talk much about sports.
Let's talk
like
about
we
it.
used to.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, it's 2020 has had an impact on us all, and definitely with the sports world. We saw this NBA bubble, and what's interesting about the NBA, everyone has an excuse now as far as who didn't win or who won or whatever. What I liked about the bubble, man, was it gives you a neutral court.
Right. I like that too.
I'm on the road. So,
right.
And a lot of the LeBron haters sort of try to take away his, and the Lakers, championship because, it was the bubble, is different. Everybody's under the same conditions, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No fans. But, they tried to make it, I thought that because I'm a detail oriented person, man. So I feel like that they tried to make it as detailed as possible, because if you notice, they switched up the court when whoever's supposed to be the home team. They switched stuff up like that. They'd have their fans on the jumbotrons. They played louder noise, for the homes. I mean, they tried to duplicate
they created that feel,
right. But the one thing that you don't have is the drunk white dude that's sitting behind the bench that's paid $3,000 for his tickets, screaming at you every time you dribble. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's just some things that you can't replicate, man. So, shit, man. I mean, shout out to the NBA, man, for really getting that done. Not from the standpoint that they did anything that was, so monumental from a culture standpoint per se. But I really feel like that, just like music and other mediums, I think that sports is a medium that America as a whole really needs, because it will kind of and I hate using the word unite us, or the words unite us, but it does kind of unite us. It kind of unites us under the guise of sports, without regard to socioeconomic status or anything of that nature. Until people start talking about well, I won't say that, but anyway.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I think that it does unite us in a way that during this pandemic, I think a lot of folks really needed that outlet. It's been, terribly difficult to be able to maintain, a portion of your sanity without the usual outlets, man. It should speak for me personally, man. It's like, it's stir crazy up in this motherfucker, man. I'm like,
hell yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to find entertainment. I haven't watched this many movies ever.
Bro, I'm binge watching all kind of shit, man. Shit that I would never even watch. And I'll be like, damn,
Nigga, I watched like Hee Haw the other day or some shit. I mean, like, what am I doing?
I watch Hee Haw with my great grandmother, man, back in
yeah.
People gonna be like, that nigga Fresh old as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, you got to find your entertainment, and I appreciate the NBA, in that regard, to be able to, because we saw real good quality play, and again, like I said, they've crowned the champion, and they're on to the due season at this particular point. I think they're, 8 weeks in, at least 12 games, and I don't know.
It's about 20 or less games.
Okay. Yeah. So,
18 games right now.
Yeah. So, I definitely appreciate that. We got the championship that's coming up, man. The AFC and NFC championship games for football, man. Who you got? Make a prediction, man. Make a prediction.
Dude, I got the oldest quarterback versus the youngest in the Super Bowl. I'm going to say Brady goes out on a white horse, man. No pun intended. I like the Bucks. I mean, I want AB to get his. I know he made some crazy decisions last year. Did some things, whatever. But I like the guy. He's one of the best receivers. I like Fournette. Jones, they got a good backfield, got good defense. I'm sort of rooting for Tampa Bay, man. Sort of rooting for them. Not necessarily Brady's. I mean, you can't take away Brady's greatness. Like him or not, he just. Why is Tampa Bay in this position right now? Mm-hmm. It just so happens Brady's there, right? I mean, really.
Well,
so I think Kansas City will be there again, but I got Brady taking it, man. What about you?
Well, I want to speak to a couple of things. You about to get me hyped up already, but I'll say this, man. I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers and the Pack. Okay. Only because they're playing in Lambeau.
Okay.
I will say this. I would like to see, Byron Leftwich, get to a Super Bowl like Eric Bieniemy did and win it. But I just don't think that it's going to happen. Byron Leftwich is Former quarterbacks coach at Pittsburgh, offensive coordinator at Tampa. Played in the league for a while. Hadn't really got a shot, man, because I'm segueing into the hiring stuff that we're talking about. I like to see him, get a ring so he could say, "Look, I'm a Super Bowl champion, winning, Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator," just like Eric Bieniemy, who still hadn't been hired, which is crazy.
I think his time is coming, though.
Right, I think so, but I wouldn't go to Houston. I'd be telling Houston to kiss my ass.
Dude, Houston's a cancel, man.
We can talk about that shit too, man. But I will say this, man. I think it's going to be Green Bay and Kansas City, and I really think that on a neutral field, I think Green Bay will do it, bro.
Okay, I think it's. I mean, that's definitely.
I think Green Bay will do it. So we'll see. We'll revisit this particular episode in a couple of weeks. Yeah. We'll play it back and see what the predictions are. But yeah, I'm saying Green Bay over Kansas City, bro.
Okay,
Kansas City.
They could do it.
Speaking of, as far as the playoffs go, man, I'm glad to see Drew Brees' ass out. Everybody gave him such a pass, bro. I was like, get your motherfucking ass out, dude. Racist ass, man. I'm just like, take your fucking ass on somewhere.
I thought it was just me. I said that to somebody. I was like, anybody but Breeze. Yeah, I didn't forget that Confederate shit he said last summer.
Yep, I ain't forget either. So no.
Yeah,
when he broke all them ribs and punctured his lung, I was just like,
yeah.
So, but anyway,
that's what it is.
Okay, but what is it about the NFL, man? It's like, because I had that long with that whole Kaepernick thing. I boycotted the NFL for a minute.
I was about to say, man, you ain't been in it in a minute,
and I'm about to do it again, man, because the hiring. When I saw this Dan Campbell dude at the Detroit Lions press conference, dude, I was just shaking my head. I was like, that's a motherfucking insurrectionist right there. This dude talking about, we're going to take a kneecap, we're going to take a chunk out, we're going to bite you. I'm just like, this is what they want. They want this crazed white rage. And for whatever reason, owners think that plays to professional football players. But what they don't understand is like these dudes come into the league, at least the higher drafted guys and the guys that work up to this particular point. They got their own brands, man. They got their own. They're making more than the coach. You know what I'm saying? Do you really think that they want to hear all that rah-rah bullshit?
No, they don't.
This is a business. This is a business.
Right.
And if you can't get up to play for your $10 million, then you're not a professional. You understand what I'm saying? You're not a professional. So I just think that owners are missing the boat on a lot of black talent. They even incentivized the teams, by hiring. It was something where they incentivized them. But if you hire somebody out of a pipeline or whatever, then you would get rewarded for it or something. And we're still not getting hired. So.
Yeah,
I think the NFL is, we already knew that the NFL is inherently racist. They showed those colors. They've already shown that, so that's not a surprise. But I feel like that, just like I said before with the Colin Kaepernick thing, it's like the minute that Colin Kaepernick took a knee, there should have been a whole bunch of black players taking a knee with him. You can't get rid of everybody, and this is the same thing. If NFL players see, the NFL is not the NBA, and I understand why, because the contracts aren't guaranteed, the career span is shorter, the punishment level is higher. There's a lot of things that go along with the NFL that will leave you crippled. So I mean, there's a lot there, so you got to get in, get what the fuck you can get, and get the fuck out.
That's right.
It's like, I mean, if you're 22 years old, if you go 4 years of college, you come out, you're 21, 22 years old. And if you play 5 years and you get a chance to make $15, $20 million, you still got 40 years of your life left that you may or may not, your quality of your life may not even be that good because of the type of trauma your body and your head and your knees are going through.
Right.
So I get it. I mean, I really do get it. But at the same time, I think that these brothers need to understand that unless there's some equity on all levels of this, you're going to continuously be up under the thumb of these owners. You're never going to have the advantage. Your contracts are never going to be guaranteed. You got to stand up for something. You have to show them that, hey, look, we'll shut this motherfucker down. When it gets to that particular point, that pendulum of power is going to swing, and it doesn't matter how many billions of dollars these owners have. But you have to have the fortitude to be able to say, there's something greater than my paycheck out there that needs to be accomplished. Right. That's why the NBA gets to do whatever the hell it wants to do. When Milwaukee decided they didn't want to play, bruh.
Yeah, they walked off.
Shit started changing real quick. You know what I'm saying? The voices got louder. They got louder. They got louder. They got louder. You know, and so those are the type of things that the NFL needs to realize. They're not at that particular point yet. And for whatever reason, I don't know. All I know is that, I mean, maybe it's because it's 53 people, 30-something teams, 1,500 as opposed to, you know, the 13 or 14 on 30-something teams. And it's, you know, the efforts can be a little bit more concentrated. There's not such a disparity in the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whatever the reason is, but the NFL hasn't shown me collectively as a group of players that's predominantly overwhelmingly black, haven't shown me the type of things that I need to see, that I would like to see. I don't say I need to see, but that I would like to see as far as social justice goes, man. Especially when it comes to sticking up for your own, you know. But yeah,
I mean that's a good summary, man. That's a good summary. And talking about the Rooney Rule, I mean, I think that's just more symbology. It's just put in place. They're not really enforcing or definitely reinforcing that rule, that so-called rule. Right. I mean, we got 2 NFL coaches now, Tomlin and the guy,
Flores.
Miami, Flores or something. And I think he's Honduran at that. But either way, you got Bieniemy that's, like you said, I mean, look at what he's done. Right. And it's just one of those things where, to me, I just equated to corporate America. I mean, I just sort of look at it. It's just another entity that has, you know, leaders at the top, don't look like me. What is it that I can do? It makes me think about some podcast we had some time ago when they put Jay-Z on. Remember, Jay-Z was supposed to come in and, well, let's see what can he do, or what is his role? I mean, I think that became very stagnant.
He ended up putting like, was Shakira or somebody in the halftime? Was it
J-Lo and Shakira or
somebody on the halftime show? I was just like, you wasted everybody's time with that. But anyway, don't get me started.
Yeah, but so I mean, again, it's how do we assume power in whatever we do, whatever these systems and institutions that have been created. What is our role there? I think it's just a question we all, should have to ourselves. Irregardless of what we're doing, who our employer is, or how we make our bread. Right. What is our true position in trying to assume power in whatever we're doing? Right. And so to your point with NFL, I mean, we know it could be just like that these players can take certain control. I mean, we've heard that we've heard that song over and over again. Right. It's just a matter of when. I mean, look, Kaepernick. I mean, the whole thing. Kaepernick is probably looking at America like, okay, like really, especially going back to the insurrection of the Capitol and how this white rage per se, this perceived white rage what is it about? It's not perceived. It's real. Loving this country. Right. What does that mean? To be a patriot? Is it, so right. It can be very mind-boggling.
Right. I will say this too, man. I mean, that Kaepernick thing was like, 5 years ago now? Yeah. I mean, going on 5 years. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how that circle, the circle of circumstances have kind of closed itself now. People can understand exactly what the heck is going on. And the funny thing about that is that's a continuation of nothing's new. There's nothing new under the sun. It's that people are starting to really pay attention. So I'm gonna leave that there, man, because I can go on and on for days about that, man. But Hank Aaron died, bro. That's just crazy to me. I am not the one thing that I'm not gonna do, because I saw a lot of bullshit on. I want to make this point really, really quickly. I saw a lot of bullshit on social media in regards to him being poisoned by the vaccine that he took. I think it was on January 5th or 6th. And then, 2 weeks later, he dies in his sleep. I hate when we do that shit. I hate when we do that. And it's not because I don't think that is possible, but a dude just can't be 90. Almost 80, 86, almost 90 years old. A dude can't just have gone through, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. He's from the fucking stress. The fact that he made it to 86. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so we just can't be old, and we can't just live a charmed life, and we just can't die peacefully in our sleep. You know what I'm saying? That shit aggravates me. Okay. That shit aggravates me. However, I do think that this is called to study the effects of the actual side effects, because there are side effects to any vaccine. I think that perhaps those side effects should be studied a little bit further. Like, hey, if you are in a certain age group, can these side effects trigger something else? But I don't think that he wasn't fucking murdered or any of that. If the vaccine has something to do with it, I'm sure that'll come out, or it may not come out in an autopsy.
I doubt it. I doubt that it would ever come out if it was,
right.
Especially within a short time frame, because the whole pressure is everyone take the vaccine, please.
Right.
And we knew it was coming before it was coming.
Right. So, but what I'm saying though is this. I mean, we don't get a chance to just grow old gracefully and to just pass at our own when it's our time, when we're asleep. Very few of us are afforded that particular luxury, whether it's because of lifestyle, circumstance, white supremacy, racism, any of that. When a man can live damn near 90 fucking years, die at home in his sleep, close that book and just let that be what it is, especially when it's somebody of his stature. He didn't even play high school baseball because they didn't even have black teams. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? To go through everything that he had to go through, he had to deal with the white rage. People wanted him dead because he was going to break a white man's record. Just overt racism. To go through all of that and to still come through with the dignity of the dignity and the regalness of a diplomat or king, to always be kind to people, to always be welcoming to people, regardless of what their race was, to still be at peace with everything that has happened in your life up to that point and get to actually enjoy a very good part of your life after coming through all of that bullshit. You can't rest in peace when motherfuckers are talking conspiracy shit. You know what I'm saying? So I choose to say that he just died in his sleep. He had a good ass run. 90 is a good man. I hope the fuck I live to be 86. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to be able to, to die in my sleep without running from the cops or dying from, hypertension that's been caused because of my diet or to, any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I hope that I can die peacefully, and I hope that I get to enjoy being me and enjoy the things that I have built or that I am building. And that's what he was able to do. He was able to enjoy being the sports icon that he was. He was able to do that. And that's something that black people don't get a chance to necessarily do, especially coming from that era.
Yeah. He definitely will leave a mark on the world, definitely Atlanta.
Right.
like some of my Atlanta friends, I text, they were like, wow, that's a sad day for the city, for real.
Really?
And I actually had an opportunity to meet him. I was at some event in Atlanta back early 2000s, and dude, coming out the restroom, somebody was like, yo, that's Hank Aaron. I was like, Mr. Aaron. I just shook his hand. I was like, dude, you know that commercial? I think it's a Nissan commercial where the person puts their hand on the car and all of a sudden, like, they experience what that car driving experience.
Yeah.
Something
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Took it off.
Yeah.
When I shook his hand, I felt like that hand at bat all those times. You know, it was something very powerful about. He had a very strong shape, but it was very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, this is cool. I just met Hank Aaron, you know.
Right. I remember I got a chance to shake his hand too, man. I think it was around the same time, maybe whenever it was around the time where they built the so this had to be a while ago, because this is when they built the new well, hell, I don't even know how many stadiums are on now, but it was the stadium after Fulton County Stadium. The new ballpark,
Georgia Dome,
Turner Field. I don't even know if Turner Field's up now, man. I don't baseball. But anyway, I was there for an event, and it was at Turner Field, and he had it was the security detail come in, and I didn't know what it was, and he was on a golf cart. Somebody was driving him on a golf cart, and he went by, and he was waving everybody, and I put my hand out, and he shook my hand, and I kind of felt the same thing. It was like a strong, but it was like it put me at a point of reverence to be like, man, this is like a real American icon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really a baseball fan per se. Mm-hmm. But to be able to, to be in his presence, and he didn't say anything to me. He just shook his hand and nodded, and I was just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's some real shit. So definitely going to be missed. And again, to be able to go through everything that white America put on him, and to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor is a blessing. So yeah. So I hope nothing comes out about this vaccine bullshit, man. So I just don't think that. I mean, leave it right there.
We'll see. We'll see. But rest in peace, really, to the brother, for real.
Really.
But
let
me ask you real quick. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, this is it's about a year now since Kobe Bryant died too, man.
Yeah.
So that shit's still trying to deal with that really boggles my mind sometimes. Thinking like, wow, it's just
can't believe it. Yeah, and his daughter, right? So
right,
it's just sad, man. One of the greatest, and
right.
Look all that has happened in a year's time.
Right.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's a lot of people dropping off, and the funny thing is, I've had. And I don't want to say I personally, but I've known of people, at least 6 or 7 people within a certain age range, in the city where I grew up, which is Chattanooga, Tennessee, people that I've either known, growing up in, adjacent neighborhoods that went to different schools, or, people that went to school with me that maybe they were a year older or a year younger, that are, dying of COVID-19, man. And it's, this shit is crazy, bro. It's crazy. And we're talking about, people that are, late 40s, early 50s. And that shit is just unreal. And then, like I said, I mean, there are older people that I know. I think if I had to personally take account of people that I have actually reached out and touched or talked to, I would say it's at least a dozen. If I put out the number of people that I just know or that I have known of, it's definitely, I'd say at least 20. At least
who have died from it.
Who died from it.
Really? Wow.
Right. To where I have some type of some degree of separation to where I can say, yes, I know them, or they say, yes, I know him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're considering a lot of tributaries and capillaries in regards to spreading out your network. But I'm just saying people that I do know.
Right. Wow. That's a lot, man.
That's a lot, bro. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. and it's disheartening. I'm hoping that I know we're kind of moving, away from what we were talking about, but I just really hope that this particular administration can put in, some type of stopgap to help us, kind of curb this shit. I still ain't getting the vaccine, but we'll see what's up.
Yeah, no doubt.
What else we got, bro?
I just want to ask you about spring football. What's your look on spring football? Now, a lot of it is on the FCS level. And I follow FCS more so, but some teams are still dropping out. Unfortunately, FAMU they dropped out of playing spring ball. Some other schools recently, but that's starting back up in mid-February, and they're going to have a 16-game playoff where a playoff of 16 teams versus 24 teams. And again, I know you don't follow that level as much, but it's still, on the lookout for some stuff on ESPN or wherever.
Right. ESPN does a really good job. They do a really good job of covering FCS now, man. It's like if you are on certain platforms like Hulu and Sling and stuff like that, man, they have a lot of those channels on there, and you can catch all kind of HBCU action all the time, bro.
Good, yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out, man. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah.
What else? What else we got, man? Sports wise.
Well, it's one of the first time that I've seen where Duke and Carolina are not ranked. So before you start clapping your hands on half of that,
I just had this warm feeling go all over my body.
Yeah. The Duke part, yeah. But it's crazy. They're like 8th, 9th in the ACC right now in men's basketball. My motto is in ACC basketball is anybody but Virginia. That's my motto. Anybody but Virginia.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, I don't like Duke. I don't like UNC. Even though Michael Jordan's my favorite player, went to UNC. But to be honest, I'm kind of ambivalent about it because we weren't. I mean, we were in the Metro Conference when that was there. Then we were in the Big East.
Metro, yeah.
Right. So it's like y'all's rivalries, the seeds of discord are sown very deeply. So I don't really have a dog in the fight per se. You understand what I'm saying? We get there, try to we try to compete, beat y'all a couple times, y'all beat us, whatever, and we just try to get in where we fit in. So the ACC is, I think, at least for the past 25 years, has been the most fruitful in regards to putting players on the next level and just their level of basketball in and of itself. It used to be the Big East. Way back in the day, like early, the 90s and things like that. So
Syracuse, Georgetown.
But the ACC is consistently puts out a good product. I really don't have anything to hate on it except the fact that y'all ain't shit right now.
Yeah, well, I guess you're gonna hold on to Louisville women right now for the time being.
We'll take whatever we can get, bro.
Yeah, it'll be a showdown. I think in a week or two they play NC State women, who's number 2. So, so it should be good.
The women's game has come a long way, bro. I love watching women. Dude. Man, I'm telling you, they ball. They don't have the elevation and all the other stuff, but man, I'm talking about I'm thinking like Philadelphia could have used some of them outside shooters last year. give some of the women for the WNBA, man, to help Ben Simmons to shoot some threes, bro. Something.
Yeah. Even though ironically Philly is on top of the East right now, but
it won't be for long.
Nonetheless, I mean, switching over, talking about NBA again. What you think about the Brooklyn Nets? Harden and
they can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop a nosebleed unless they play some defense. You see what the Cavs did to them the other night. The Cavs, man, they made the Cavs
overtime or something. Yeah,
I mean, it's like I think they played them in 2 games and allowed 270 points or something like that. I'm just like, dude, they're making the Cavs look like the Harlem Globetrotters, bro.
Yeah,
or Showtime Lakers. I'm like, come on, bro. You gotta if you can't play defense, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win in playoff basketball. You have to be able to get stops. because at that particular point, you're not messing with the Cavs no more. You're messing with, the teams that have gone through and have dominated and that have, that have hit their stride and are now peaking. So you can't pull that bullshit, that Matador defense and, DeAndre Jordan just handing out invites to, you want to come to the rim? Here you go, bro. You want to come to the rim? Yeah, come on, bro. He just letting them go straight to the hoop.
Yeah.
7 feet. Where's your presence, bro? But anyway, that's just me. They got to get that together.
All roads lead through LA though. I still think you got to stop LeBron and AD, and they'll be right back in it.
Right.
In my opinion, but
it's like you got to knock the champ out, bro. Ain't no decisions. Can't go to the scorecards. You got to knock the champ out. 7 games.
But isn't it weird nowadays how? Remember growing up, man, it was like either you were a Lakers fan, a Celtics fan for the most part. Mm-hmm. Give or take Houston, Detroit, Chicago, whenever, But, I was a Lakers fan, but those teams stayed together, and you just, the good and the bad, you just roll with your teams, roll with your squad.
It's a little different now. That whole dynamic has really... I was talking with my son this morning about that, man, and he was just saying there's no more real marquee matchups amongst teams. It's all about individuals. So and I think that's where it's gone. It's definitely gone to more of an individual game. So you used to have great teams with individual
rivals,
players, but now it's not like that. Everybody's chilling on each other's yacht during the off season and shit. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But man, let's we pretty much out of time, man. Let's go ahead and just leave it right there, man. Just want to let everybody know that that we're still on Apple Podcast, on the Google platform, on Stitcher, Podbean, a whole lot of other platforms that you're used to listening to us on. But we do have a YouTube channel up now that you can actually catch this particular episode. We're going to be on Instagram. We're going to be on Facebook. We will not be on icbwpodcast.com anymore. The traffic didn't warrant us having that site. People are on their phones constantly. So we want to meet you where you are. So that's where we'll be. And we definitely appreciate you rocking with us, man. Still getting listens on all of our old content. If you want to check us out, go to Apple Podcasts. You can check some of that stuff out. Eventually, I'll be uploading a lot of the audio for some of our old shows up on the YouTube channel, too, if you want to check that out, if that's your preferred medium. But nonetheless, man, Reg,
be good, be safe, behave, brother. We'll holla.
Sir, we out.